Hello, it's Davey Mooney coming to you from the University of North Texas, where I run the jazz guitar program. Benedetto artist, Sunnyside Records. The latest is The Word. My music stand's getting a little crowded here. I've got a bunch of other Sunnyside records up here, way back from a couple years ago. The new Mel Bay book, y'all. How to Achieve Great Jazz Phrasing. Got a video up on that as well that you can check out. Going through it, an interview with Bob Baker as well at Jazz Guitar Today, talking about the new book. There's two other Mel Bay books behind that. There's Personalizing Jazz Vocabulary and Into the Labyrinth, an anatomy of position playing for jazz guitar. And let's see, it's it's Halloween week here in Denton, Texas. Everything's very spooky. We had the Day of the Dead celebration. Got my shirt, repping that a little bit. Yeah, Denton really likes to do the Halloween thing, to do it up. But that's not what I want to talk to you about. I want to talk to you about the George Gershwin uber standard Embraceable You. And I was doing my Sunnyside Records Sundance Square gig that I do usually every month, once a month, solo gig, 3 hours, Sundance Square in Fort Worth. And I just kind of played this song off the top, off the dome, so to speak. I hadn't played it in a really long time, and I sort of got to thinking about, the history that this tune has as one of the standards of all standards. Even among standards, this is a standard, and all the different versions that people have done. I think every one of the jazz greats, vocalists and instrumentalists, has a recording of this tune. So, wanted to talk about it a little bit. Of course, that creates a huge, I want to say paper trail, but audio trail of variations on the chords that, it was, I've got a few of them here that I'm going to talk about, but there was no way that I could go through every single recording, obviously. So according to Wikipedia, I believe I'm on this, it's from 1928, George and Ira Gershwin. And it was in a musical called Girl Crazy, which I guess is 1930 on Broadway. And then there's a film, 1943, with Judy Garland, where she sings it. And there's some other versions that, Charlie Parker has a really famous version of 1948, Dial Records, where he just kind of blows on it. And then Miles Davis, very young Miles Davis, plays, and they sort of take the head out. There's a weird little interlude in between the Byrds chorus and the Miles, when Miles plays on it, and they just take it out. From there, that's 1940. I think that's Max Roach. I don't know who else is on that. I can't remember all this stuff, y'all. And then 1944, we've got Billie Holiday with, I was trying to find, what's really annoying? I'm sure you guys want to know this, is the way that the streaming services don't give you any discographical information. I guess there's no disc, so they feel like they don't have to do it. But man, it's really a pain in the neck to try to hunt down. It's easier to do on YouTube, to go to YouTube and find, sort of type in the information. I want Billie Holiday 1944 because she recorded it later in her career. Also a nice version. Barney Kessel's on there, but the 1944 version is really special. And it's with Eddie Haywood and his orchestra. And that was the info I was trying to find out. I was like, who is the band here? And Doc Cheatham on trumpet. I love Doc Cheatham, y'all. I used to see him, or I saw him a couple times when he was in his 90s, in the early 90s. I was a kid, and he was doing some things around New Orleans. And then one of my favorite records, the Doc Cheatham Nicholas Payton record that they did together, I believe in like the mid to late 90s, maybe 97, something like that, 97, 98. Beautiful record. So he was on it on trumpet. Vic Dickinson, John Simmons, Sid Catlett, big Sid Catlett. And that version is so beautiful. Billie Holiday, she really kills it. 1944, Sinatra around that time as well. And, everybody else. Another version that I really love is one of my favorite solo guitar Joe Pass performances is the last track on George, Ira, and Joe. The Gershwin record he did in maybe like 1980, something like that, or early 80s. I think it's the same band as For Django. It's John Pisano and Jim Huart and Colin Bailey, I think. Again, don't judge me too harshly if I mess up a a side person here or there because, like I said, going off the dome. I did a little research. So to talk about the chords, so right away, so Judy Garland, Girl Crazy. The clip that I found on YouTube is in D flat, and the chords that I get from her are like D flat 6, sort of embrace me, D flat diminished. It was interesting voicing. It almost sounded like a C over D flat, kind of cool voicing. Sweet embraceable you, then right to an A flat 7. I think a lot of people probably go, I might do it in, let me do it in G, because that's the key that I played it in at Sundance Square, and that's the key Joe Pass does it in. Although Sinatra's in E flat, I think it's why a lot of people play it in E flat. Judy Garland's in D flat, Billie Holiday's in C, Bird is in F. So we're just all over the place with keys, and of course vocalists pick their key. So I'm going with G. So the Joe Pass version, and kind of the standard chords I would think is like a 1 chord, embrace me, or a 1 chord in first inversion. Sometimes you'll get like G or G over B, and then the second chord is often a flat 3 diminished, and then a 2 minor. Although, like I said, Judy Garland, I guess I'll go back to D flat. She has the 1 chord, the 1 diminished, and then right to the 5. Because a lot of those old recordings and versions of these tunes, it wasn't all about 2-5-1s, y'all. I'm sorry to say. Let me go through Garland again. So then, well, sorry, I'm being indecisive. I'll kind of go through what I think of as the standard chords, and then maybe go back to these variations. The Bird one has some interesting variations. So if we're in G, okay, I'm saying G over B, B flat diminished. That's what I'm going with. A minor, Embraceable You. It usually goes to D7 though. Most people will sneak in maybe like an E7 because then it goes back to A minor. Embrace me. C minor, my sweet. And then that, sometimes people will go back to a D7 before going back to G, or just kind of C minor, F7, G. You can do what some people call a backdoor 2-5-1. I call like a backdoor 2-5. I often call like subdominant minor resolution, 4 minor. Although in this case it goes right to the 4 minor. There's no 4. Although the 2 is harmonic or functionally similar to the 4. So let's go back. 1 chord. Embrace me. Measure of G, measure of B flat diminished, measure of A minor. Maybe 2 beats of D7, 2 beats of E7 or a 2-5, then A minor for a bar, C minor for a bar. Maybe you sneak in a D7 right before going back to G. Then 5 of 6. And you'll often, so E minor, and there's often like a walk down here, like just one look at you, my heart just seeing me. Because it's like E minor over D sharp, over D, then it's like a C sharp, minor 7, flat 5, and that becomes like a 2 of B minor. So you can kind of sneak in a little 5 chord to into a B minor chord. And then an E7, sometimes people will sneak in like an E flat 7 because the next chord is D major. So it's interesting, it goes to the 5, like the major key of the 5 chord. But it's interesting because there isn't a 2-5 always going to that. And this is a harmonic progression that, I don't know if Gershwin invented it, but you also find it in Fats Waller, Ain't Misbehavin'. Maybe he got it from Fats Waller. I'd have to look up and see. But the idea is, and see if you can follow me here. This is where I'm at with the harmony here. So I'm in a B minor. I'm in the key of G. And then I go to a D major chord, and it turns around in D. Like 1, 6, 2, 5, and then the 5, which is A7, becomes A minor, D7, G major. It's the first half of the tune, but a lot of versions, you're on that B minor. Just one look at you, my heart. Oh wait, sorry, that's just one look at my heart. Just see me. You're on B minor, E7. A lot of the time, that D will be over an A. So it's kind of like a 1-6-4 type sound, so that it's over an A pedal and you have that. So the B minor E7 almost feels like it is being a 2-5-1, but the 1 is really just an A pedal. Did I make that more confusing than it needs to be? You don't have to worry about that. But just think about, like, song goes to the 6, does a little walk down, 2-5 to the 3 chord, then like E7, and then it goes to the 5 major. Often without a 2-5, sometimes some folks will sneak in a 5 of D major. Then it turns around in D major, and then on the A7 it goes to A minor or D7 sus. And that's the first half of the song. It's a 32 bar, like, sort of A, B, A, C form. So you're back to G over B, or just G major, B flat diminished, A minor, D7, maybe sneak in a little E7, A minor, C minor, G major again. And then this time, instead of going to the 6, instead of going to E minor, it goes to the 4, like a 2-5 to the C major. But then it goes back to the 6 there. So C major, you kind of think it's going to go C minor, but it goes more like B7, E minor, A7. And then at this point, there's so many variations, I hesitate to even dive into them, but suffice it to say, you end up on an A7 and you end up back at G. So maybe a quick little 5-1 back to G, and you have. Sometimes people will go 1, 6, 2 with a minor 7, flat 5, because the melody's on E flat, or you could go 1, 6, 4 minor, D7, back to G. Sense too, like 1, 2, 3, 4 minor, 5, 1. So that's kind of that's the way I play it. I think that's pretty close to the way Joe Pass plays it, although he's doing tons of little variations and harmonic tricks the whole time. But I'll just go through some of the different versions. Like that Bird version is beautiful. I mean, there's so many definitive recordings of this tune, but so he's in F. And right off the bat, it's really interesting because they go F major for a bar, and then B minor 7 flat 5, E7, G minor, which is a lot like Stella by Starlight, almost identical to Stella by Starlight. But the idea is, so instead of 1 or F, we're in the key of F, so or F over A to A flat diminished. So the A flat diminished is being replaced by kind of like an E7, because functionally an A flat diminished is like a 5 of 3, right? We've talked about. If you watch my videos, I talk about this chord progression all the time. I have lots of videos about it too. It's like, in this key, it's like in the song "Alone Together," right, where you have D minor, it goes to G minor, right, and then you have like B minor E7 on a lot of versions, but the original version is A flat diminished. So it's that same thing. It's replacing the diminished chord with a 2-5. A very early example of that, which was to occur in a lot of tunes in the next few years, because this is 1948. So. They do C7, 2-5, G minor. Pretty standard. I think they sneak in a C7 there. So in this case, the 6th chord is D minor. They do the pretty standard. They go to D7, and they do like a 5 of 5. They turn around. Sometimes it's hard to hear what the bass is doing. And then, like, before the second half, it's kind of not clear what's happening. I think they might go up to like a D flat 7 and back to C7. It just sounds kind of strange. And then the second ending, 2-5 to 4. Don't be alone, baby. And they go, this is a little different. They go to B minor 7 flat 5, B flat minor, F. So slight variation, but not that different. in G, that would be like. Instead of just going to A7, going to C sharp minor 7 flat 5, now I'm talking in the key of G. It's kind of the same thing, but they sneak in that little 4 minor. And then their final turnaround there in the key of the F is like F, G minor, B flat minor, C7, F. So not that different, but that original replacing the diminished chord with a 2-5 is kind of a foreshadowing of things to come in jazz. All the way back in 1948, Judy Garland. I'll quickly go through that version from what I could hear from the string arrangement on a YouTube clip from Girl Crazy, but I hear D flat, and then D flat diminished, like a 1 diminished, just right to the 5 chord, A flat 7, 2 chord, E flat minor, then I hear A7, A flat 7, D flat. So instead of going up to the 4 minor, they go down to the, there's an A flat triad at the top of both of them, but they do like flat 6 diminished, flat 6 dominant 5, back to D flat, and they do this little walk up. Embraceable You, E flat minor, E diminished, F minor, F7, and the walk down to go, just wanna look at you, my heart, or Dipsy, F minor. And they do just F minor, B flat 7, and here they have that, everything's over an E flat pedal, like I was talking about. So the bass motion is still like F minor, B flat, E flat, A flat, D flat. By keeping that pedal, they sort of keep a cycle of 5-1, 5-1 cycle of fourths thing going. And then I think the rest of it was pretty standard, what you would expect. Billie Holiday, she's in C. She couldn't just be in D flat. I guess C was the right key. It's that Eddie Haywood. They start on the so C over E kind of sound. E flat diminished, so you get this. Embraceable You, G7, E7, F. So that's different, right? Embrace me, my sweet embraceable you, G7. Instead of like going to the 2, they go G7, E7, they go to 4. Embrace me, 4 minor, minor, C major. Then they all have this walk down. Just wanna get you, my heart, see. They keep walking down, and they go right to the G. From the walk down, and then let's see, again go to the major 4, then 4 minor. I never found another version that did that. C7, second half, F major, E7, A minor, D7. They stick a little 5 in there, and they go 1, 6, 4 minor, 5, 1. So. Lots of variations. How do I play on it? Well, if I'm in G, going back, I know we've been through a bunch of keys, but I always treat that flat 3 diminished as 5 of 3. So in the key of G, I think of that B flat diminished as like an F sharp 7. And if I had to assign a chord scale to it, I would just think like B harmonic minor. So. Then you just go to A minor. I know that wants to go, it's 5 of B minor, but it just doesn't go there. It's kind of a deceptive resolution. And on all my videos, I go off on this probably more than any other progression. You could make the 4 minor chord be like, so the C minor be like C melodic minor if you want, which you can play like a F augmented triad sound on it as well. Although I don't know, you could also be C Dorian. So, and then just a lot of functional harmony. It's a 2/5 to E minor, then 5 to B minor. And you have an E7, you could try to sneak in an E flat to go to D major, or sometimes it's fun to just let it hang on the E7 and then go right to D major without a 5-1. Then it turns around. I mean, there's nothing that unusual about the chord that just goes through various key areas, right? It goes to 1, minor 6, minor 3, major 5, and then in the second ending, 4, back to 6. And another sort of big 2 chord where you can decide if you want to sneak in a 5 to go back to 1, and then that's the turnaround of sort of 1, 6, 4 minor, or you could do 2 minor 7 flat 5, 5, 1. So I'm going to play on it. Man, it's tough after you listen to Bird's, magnificent version to think about improvising my own chorus on it, but I will attempt to do so. I'll do it in G, so at least I'm in a different key than he was. And check out my solo version. I thought it turned out pretty good. I was just for doing it off the top of my head. And all these great versions, particularly, man, Billie Holiday, Charlie Parker, also Ella Fitzgerald, the list goes on and on of great recordings of this tune. So, all right, hope you enjoy.